So welcome guys and girls. Here I want to talk about personal branding as a secret superpower for you young scientists. So I hope you will enjoy this presentation. So before okay, so thanks a lot for inviting me to join this great this great session. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Alexandra. Thank you, Zachary. It's a great pleasure to be with you. So who I am. I'm Ari Massoudi. Unfortunately, I have also a PhD in molecular biology from University of Nice 2007. So I have some white hair now. I'm serial entrepreneur. I founded three startups, not exactly in the biotech, but related in science. I'm also a biotech investor. I'm committed with 20 startups now, and I had the luck to have 3 exits to big pharma. And since I quit the academic career in 2009, I work also and mainly as a consultant in bio business in many fields such as business development and marketing. And now I'm more focusing on branding for biotechnology startups. I'm also the host of Espistème Entrepreneur, the media that give voice to STEM PhD founders. So I invite you to take a look. I have fantastic interview on my site. So just before I start the talk, I would like to apologize at first because I have a lot of slides. So sorry for that, but I promise something. I won't read the slide bullet point after bullet point. I hope it won't be boring for you. I prepared a slide deck that you can take it at home and use it as a workbook. So let me tell you a little story. Once upon a time, in a fairy tale village called Academia, lived two passionate young scientists, freshly graduates, Nicole and Tom. They dreamed to become tenure professor and contribute to the advancement of science. Every day, they worked hard to make their dream come true. By reading tons of scientific articles, refining their technical skills and learning new techniques, designing and running new experiments, analyzing data, writing, submitting articles to scientific journals, presenting their work in conference and seminar, collaborating with other labs, teaching and tutoring trainees, and of course, cleaning the lab. I know biologists may know what I'm talking about. But the academic world has become insanely competitive. Uh, just look at this GIF. It's a meme, of course, but 20 years ago, 50 years ago, it was quite easy. Just after your PhD, you do one postdoc or two max, and you get a tenure position. Now you have to do one, two, or three postdocs, and then you get intermediate position between postdoc and assistant professor job. It came a hell. So it's not just my words, even the Nobel Prize Peter Higgs believed no university would employ him in today's academic system because he would not be considered productive enough. Just imagine, Peter Higgs himself said that. So because of that, Nicole and Tom, with their children, have to relocate from lab to lab with the hope of getting one day a tenure position. So now they realize they are trapped in a rat race. They will end exhausted and still running to get a new postdoc or a pre-assistant professor job. So as I told you, now in nowadays competitive space in the academic world, you have to follow three postdoc, three years each before getting an assistant professor job, and from the assistant professor job to become associate professor, which is a tenure position, count 7 years. So nearly after your PhD, you have to wait 9 years before becoming a tenure position and working on your own idea. So it makes a lot of years. What if your future is not in the academic world? Are there opportunities out there where you can shine by capitalizing on your scientific education and your expertise? Of course, there are plenty of possibilities and opportunities. First of all, you can of course continue in the academic world and try to get your tenure position as a researcher or teaching as a teacher in a university. I don't tell you to quit university. I just tell you that it's very competitive and there are plenty of possibility out there. In the academic world, there are many non-research jobs. Project manager, communication, marketing. The university are like a company. They have many needs. So you can find a lot of jobs that are not related to being in a lab. You can be a solopreneur, solo entrepreneur, a consultant like me, a coach. You can launch your own startup as a CEO, or you can join a startup as a chief scientific officer. Or if you follow some formal training in marketing or communication, you can become chief marketing officer, chief communication officer. You can work as employee for established research and development company, from small, sized enterprise to big corporation. There are plenty of jobs that you can apply for. Non R&D company. There are also many jobs you can find your place there. And of course, there are also many non-profit organizations in which you can work. So now we will start a kind of workshop. I will teach you everything you need to design and implement your personal branding. And I will teach you that, and it's worth a 10K MBA, believe me. So I don't know if you have already familiar with the business model canvas and the value proposition canvas. If yes, it's great. If not, don't worry, I will explain it very easily. So first of all, I will talk about the business model canvas. Everything you need to know about any type of organization, public, private, small, big, individual consultant, or an organization full of employees, you can summarize it with the business model canvas. The business model canvas is a canvas made of 9 blocks, and the most important one is this one, value propositions, and this one, the customer segment, to whom you want to address your product, goods, and or service. The business model canvas had been developed by Dr. Alex Osterwalder, who is a PhD in economics from University of Geneva, if I'm good. And let's hear his voice and discover what the business model canvas is.
An organization's business model can be described with 9 basic building blocks: your customer segments, your value proposition for each segment, the channels to reach customers, customer relationships you establish, the revenue streams you generate, the key resources and key activities you require to create value, the key partners, and the cost structure of the business model. But it's not sufficient to just enumerate the 9 building blocks. What you really want to do is to map them out on a pre-structured canvas. This is what we call the business model canvas, a tool that helps you map, discuss, design, and invent new business models. Let's briefly go through the 9 building blocks, starting with the customer segments. These are all the people or organizations for which you're creating value. This includes simple users and paying customers. For each segment, you have a specific value proposition. These are the bundles of products and services that create value for your customers. The channels describe through which touchpoints you're interacting with customers and delivering value. The customer relationships outline the type of relationship you're establishing with your customers. The revenue streams make clear how and through which pricing mechanisms your business model is capturing value. Then you need to describe the infrastructure to create, deliver, and capture value. The key resources show which assets are indispensable in your business model. The key activities show which things you really need to be able to perform well. The key partners show who can help you leverage your business model. Since you won't own all key resources yourself, nor will you perform all key activities. Then once you understand your business model's infrastructure, you'll also have an idea of its cost structure. So with the business model canvas, you can map out your entire business model in one image. This works for startup entrepreneurs just as well as for the most senior executives.
Okay, perfect. So this is the business model canvas, and it also, sorry, there was another video. I invite you to watch it at home. So once you understand the business model canvas, you see that here the value proposition have to be connected to a target audience, a target customer. And the value proposition canvas focus specifically on this, the two blocks. And once again, I will let Alex explain you what exactly.
Let's look at the value proposition canvas, a tool that will help you design, test, build, and manage great customer value propositions. It's like a plugin to the business model canvas. The tool is based on two elements of your business model: the customer segment, who you intend to create value for, and the value proposition, which you believe will attract customers. With the value proposition canvas, you can map out both in more granularity and show the fit between what you offer and what customers want. The customer segment profile describes the characteristics of your customers in more detail. The profile is composed of the jobs your customers are trying to get done in their work and in their lives, the related pains outlining the negative aspects they hate or would like to avoid, and third, the gains describing the positive outcomes and benefits which your customers would love to have. Now let's look at the profile in more detail. Jobs describe an important issue your customers are trying to solve in their work or in their lives. It could be the tasks they're trying to perform and complete, the problems they are trying to solve, or the needs they are trying to satisfy. And then jobs can have a functional, social, or emotional intent. Now, some jobs will be crucial to their customers, others will be trivial. Then the second aspect here are the pains describing anything that annoys your customers before, during, and after getting a job done. This could be undesired costs and situations, negative emotions, or risks. Again, some customer pains will be severe, others light. And the third aspect of the profile are the gains describing the outcomes and benefits your customers require, expect, desire, or would be surprised by. This includes things like functional utility, social gains, positive emotions, and cost savings. And again, some outcomes and benefits will be more relevant to customers than others. These three elements of the profile describe the customer characteristics that you can observe in the market. Now let's look at the value proposition map, describing the features of your value proposition, which you are designing to address your customers' most important jobs, pains, and gains. The map is composed of the products and services your value proposition is built around, the pain relievers outlining how your products and services alleviate customer pains, and third, the gain creators describing the positive outcomes and benefits your products and services create for your customers. Now let's look at the map in more detail. First, the products and services simply outline the bundle of products and services that you're offering customers to help them get a functional, social, or emotional job done and to address their pains and gains. Now, the second aspect here, the pain relievers, make explicit how your products and services will alleviate specific customer pains before, while, and after the customer is trying to get a job done. They show which of all the customer pains your value proposition is addressing by eliminating or reducing them. The next aspect here are the gain creators. They make explicit how your products and services create customer gains. They show which of all the customer gains your value proposition is addressing by creating benefits and outcomes. Now you have achieved a so-called problem-solution fit when the features of your value proposition perfectly match the characteristics of your customer segment profile. When the market validates this match and your value proposition gets traction with real customers, you have achieved a so-called product market fit. But don't forget, successful businesses have more than just a great value proposition. They have a great business model that makes a customer value proposition possible. Now, do you have what it takes to design great business models and value propositions with pain relievers and gain creators that match real customer jobs, pains, and gains? Class dismissed.
Perfect. So this is a very important point here.
Let's look at the...
because you, as a living entity, you are also an organization, of course, of differentiated cells. What I wanted to say here is that everything you know, everything you learned about the business model of a company will work also for you as a person. This is maybe one of the most important points of this presentation. Everything you learn about the business model of a company will work for you as a person. So I apologize. I will read bullet point after bullet point this one slide because it's very important to hear it, that you hear it at least once in your life. So first, each block of the business model that I presented of an organization has many types of problem that need to be solved. That means in every block of an organization, you can find many job opportunities. For any organizations, a job position is created because a problem has to be solved. This is a very important point. Therefore, you, as an individual, as an expert, to be perceived by the recruiter, or even as a, if you want to sell your product, if you're startup founders, they have to perceive you as a solution provider or pain reliever. And how you do that? You do it with your hard skills. So what you can do for them, really. Then a value proposition is something, a product, goods, or service that is designed to bring value to someone. And then someone, it can be an individual or another company. A value proposition helps people, it helps someone, company or individuals, to achieve an objective. This is what we call the job to be done. It's very important. So if you offer your service to be hired by a company, you have to solve a product because you have to solve a problem because this problem has been emerged because a job to be done cannot be done. So and the next point is the achievement of an objective is valuable if someone is willing to pay money to get it. So this is a very important point. If a company is willing to pay you to work on a job, is meaning that it has value for the company. And if there is no money for what you want to do, that means there is no value in that. I'm sorry, we live in a capitalist world, and the value of something is the money someone is willing to pay for to get it. So being a solution provider, pain reliever, painkiller, this is the synonyms, is not enough. You also have to be perceived as someone great to work with. And here come your soft skill, how you do things, your particular manner of doing things, of dealing with problems, how you interact with other Homo sapiens. Are you someone nice to work with, or are you hard and harsh? So you have to expose the best of your personality. This is your personal promise as a gain provider to recruiter. So last post-it. So your personal value proposition is therefore the package of hard and soft skills you offer to solve a recruiter's problem with the promise of a gain. And you can change recruiter by customer if you're a startup founder. It's exactly the same. And by offer, it's of course a jargon we use in business. It means to sell. So you can reread the same phrase, the same sentence, sorry, by changing you offer by you sell to solve a recruiter's problem. So what personal branding is not, and I really want to insist on this 3 points because most of the time people think personal branding is being famous, is being narcissistic and becoming a cult leader, or being over publishing stuff on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter. This is communication. The third point is just communication. And if it's not done with some strategic thought before, it's just anarchic communication. It doesn't serve you, and it can even harm you. So these 3 points are what I call anti-personal branding. Seeking fame, nurturing narcissism, and anarchic communication are not personal branding. So personal branding is the art, science, and technique that helps you to reveal your personal value proposition first, and second, and how you want to be perceived by the world. And by the world, I mean your target audience. And a very important point, by perceived, I mean, I will already give you the answer. Perceived by your target audience as a reliable, truthful, honest, skilled, and great to work with expert in your domain. This is the objective of personal branding. Is not to become famous, is not to become a cult leader, is to be perceived as an expert in your domain. So let's dig into personal branding process. Personal branding process is made in two parts. First part, which is the most important in my eyes, is the introspection. A work you have to do to reveal your personal value proposition. And the second part is based on the extrospection, how you want to be perceived by the world. So let's take a look at this first part now. So introspection starts with the work on yourself, trying to understand what is your why, your deep why, what is your purpose. And it also has another side of the work, you're identifying your personality, your value, your soft skill, and your hard skill, and all of this will be summarized into your personal SWOT. So this work has been developed by a great communicant professional called Simon Sinek. I invite you to Google him and find his video. He's great, and also to read his book. It's just great. And is the finding your why is the basement of your personal branding. So the first point is to think about what is important for you, and not for your parents, and not for your sibling, not for your principal investigator, your supervisor. What is important for you when you wake up every morning? What gives you energy? What do you in what activity do you lose track when you are absorbed and nobody can change move you to do something else? What would your life be if you knew what this purpose is? Other question that you can add to help you to find your why is what cause you want to fight for. Is there a cause that is very important for you in life? Is there an injustice that outrages you? And also, what do you believe is right for you, but also for the world? Do you have a dream that you would like to happen? And of course, a dream that is bigger than just becoming rich or I don't know, becoming famous or this kind of stuff. A very altruist dream that you would like to make it happen. And then when you discover that, you can work on what you want to do and for who you want to do. And you can read all of this at home, of course. And when you know what and who, you can then develop how you want to do it. For example, doing research in a lab versus popularizing science discovery to a wider audience, and where you want to do it. Do you need intense social interaction, or do you need loneliness? If you need intense social interactions, for example, so you need to work in a dynamic research center in a megacity, or going in an isolated research station in the Arctic Pole. And how? And the last question here is how much? How much is money something important for you? If the question is yes, so academia is surely not for you. Industry or consulting is good. Is glory something important for you? Academia is good because you can hope to get a Nobel Prize one day, or other prize, or startup, because startup is difficult, but when they succeed, you have the glory. Is money not important for you? So academia or non-profit. Do you need? Sorry, I forget the verb. Do you need intense workflow, or do you need a work-life balance? So this, when you have you work on all these questions and you clarify all of these questions for yourself, you can then accept opportunities that align with your deep why. You can also make a personal assessment to discover your dominant personality. And I can only recommend you the test developed by Dr. Jordan Peterson, who is a very famous clinical psychologist. This is the only science-backed personality assessment test. The other ones, Enneagram and others, I don't want to see them, are not scientifically backed. So this is the only one, and it's very cheap. It's $9, $10. So you can just believe me, it's worth it. Your value, your your why is important for you. You know, to wake up and say, okay, I know exactly where I want to go, and then your value. You have to understand what are your values and how you can then communicate your values to the world. So why knowing your value gives you a radical advantage, because they allow you to build clarity and trust in your communication. And when you build clarity and trust in your communication, you can then have people who join you. Uh, there is nothing worse than having a communication that is complex, complicated. There is many message, you know. Um, Clarity and trust is very important to bring people to you. Here, a very easy exercise to find your value. List 10 person, fiction, real, famous or not, you admire. For each one, write 3 or 5 points about what you like in their personality, their words, or their behavior. If you find a recurrent, attribute you admire in this person or pattern, in fact, they are your values, because we usually transfer our values to people we like. So this is a very easy exercise you can do at home. Don't worry, I won't read that. It's just a list of non-exhaustive values. So, for example, accountability could be something important for you. You see, and you admire someone who expressed this value in his life, in his work life. Accountability, or it could be authenticity. Uh, Here are the following of the list. And what about your soft skills? The soft skills are very important for you as a startup founder or as a job seeker, uh, because soft skill is what make people decide to work with you or not. Hard skill, everyone know how to use PCR. Every PhD biologist know how to run a confocal microscope. That's not how people differentiate between experts. It's based on our soft skills. And here you have some the main cognitive and behavioral soft skills. It's a list. I won't read it. Just pick some skills here. Read them, and try to remember when you express them in and write the whole story down. Think about the context, people who were involved, how your skills solved a problem and brought a gain to the situation. And of course, don't forget to write down the outcome, the good consequence of all of this. Why I ask you to do this exercise? Because when you write down uh, for some of your soft skills, this whole story, we can then use the story for your communication and bring people to you. Here are your hard skills. The hard skills are the classic ones on your scientific CV. Usually they are only talking to people who are expert in your domain. Here are some hard skill of a molecular biologist. But if you are a population biologist, maybe it doesn't talk. Or if you're a chemist, maybe it doesn't understand. And if you are a physician, it doesn't understand. So just imagine someone outside the academic world, in the industry, who want to hire you. If you send your CV with this on it, it's a no way. But there is a trick. Any of your hard skills can be rewritten to be perceived as a valuable skill by industry recruiter. That's what we call transferable skill. So I just show you some example. Once again, I promise I won't read the slide, just maybe the first line. Um, so if you are as a molecular biology, you mastered all of this technique: DNA, RNA extraction, polymerase chain reaction, gel electrophoresis, etc. You cannot tell that to a recruiter, but you can say, hey, I am very good to detail, and I put my attention on precision. I can extract and isolate essential information from complex system. And this is applicable to data analysis and problem solving tasks. And this has value for an industry recruiter. So I let you read all of the other point, and you can literally transform, rewrite all your hard skill into a language that industry recruiter can understand. Once you have done all this introspection job, you can summarize all of this into a matrix, a canvas called the SWOT: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. And you and this is very useful canvas for your personal branding, because for example, when you have identified your strength, what type of opportunity you can take easily, and is for you, that align with your value, with your why, and very important. So it also gives you a red alert about your weakness and the threat. And the threat can be the type of opportunity you should not take. Maybe it's not for you. It's very important, because if you take an opportunity because it's just there and you take it, uh, and you work on something you don't like, that doesn't align with your why and your value, after a couple of months or couple of years, you can make a burnout. So that's why it's very important to be aligned. So we are now nearly 30 slide. I apologize, sorry again. But I still haven't mentioned any LinkedIn post, YouTube video, tweets, Instagram photos. I hope you got it now. Personal branding is not about your online presence and content publication. Personal branding is about, first of all, knowing yourself, and then crafting your value proposition and communication strategy. And only then once you have done the first point and the second point, you can then choose the right platforms and starting producing content to communicate your value proposition. So just one slide about how to dig into your personal branding process, the extrospection. So how can you craft your life and professional story? So tell your story based on the sequence why, what, and how. You can also use why, how, and what, but always start with your why. And the the best way to do that is start with the I believe or I have a dream. The Martin Luther King speech. I believe, or I have a dream. Just let me give you an example. I believe epigenetics is the most important life mechanism in life science. So that's why I want to work on that. Craft your value proposition then. One sentence speech here. But of course, you have done all the preliminary work to being able to write this one sentence speech. Sorry. So I'm Ari Massoudi. I'm a molecular biologist, and I help, enable, I don't know, my supervisor or my university, or to achieve uh, the objective. The objective is to discover new knowledge in cancer biology. With my secret sauce is all the molecular biology techniques I master, but also my soft skill. I know how to manage trainees. I know how to teach. I know to communicate in seminar. I know also to do some popularization contents that can bring a highlight on my lab without a pain and with a gain. And then you can craft your online identity. Choose a good picture of you, choose your colors, eventually your tone, your language tone, how you want to address to the people you wanna communicate to. You want to communicate on a friendly tone, or a serious tone, a very formal tone, a very business tone. So this is up to you. This is up to your personality. You can eventually also work on your typo if you are a blogger, if you want to blog with a specific typography. And also, if you are, once again, a blogger, you have to develop a unique editorial slant with an original point of view. All of this will allow you then to start your online communication. So just I gave you here my own example for the media I launched that called Espistème Entrepreneur. So my why, my upper why or vision is that to solve our global challenges and ensure us a brilliant future, I believe we have to accelerate the transfer of deep technologies into our societies. And for that, there is only one option, and this is my motto: knowledge, scientific knowledge, to be precise, plus imagination, plus entrepreneurship equal innovation. Why? This is my one mission, my why mission. I'm on a mission to help scientists, founder of deep tech startup to make their voice heard. How I do that? I host Espistème Entrepreneur, an online media, and what I do, where I interview scientists, entrepreneurs. And another hammer shot, why? My why personal? Because I believe what they do is precious for humanity. So, I started with the why and I ended with the why. So you shortcut all the rationality in the mind of your target audience. Here, an alternative version, shorter, lighter, Episteme's mission is to give voice to PhD founders of deep tech startups because, problem, no one cares about science and technologies. Everybody prefer, low tech, no tech startups because they are easy to understand, they are close to market, and there are a lot of hype on the startup, but nobody cares about science and technology founders. So whereas, and here is an opportunity because there is a paradox. What these guys do is precious for humanity. And paradox in business is very important. Okay, here I will show you the big picture. So first, reveal your personal value proposition. Once done, how you want it to be perceived by the world. Once done, you can then start to choose the right platform and starting producing content to communicate your value proposition to your target audience. And as you can see in the business model canvas, the personal branding, the basement of personal branding is made of the value proposition and the target audience. And it's not communication. Communication is something else. It's this point. Sarah, do we have still some time?
Yeah, you can go ahead. I
So-
mean, it's your time, right? So you're donating your time.
Okay. So I have made a video for you guys. In this video, I will try to explain you what are the main benefits of working on your personal branding and the main benefits you will gain during your personal branding journey. Okay. So let's start with the first step of the personal branding. You know now that you have to work on your why, and by doing so, you will learn to discover yourself. And by discovering yourself, you know yourself, you can then work on your value proposition. Sorry, I write it PV, it's French, proposition valeur. So it's your value proposition for your target audience, and you can then work on your communication strategy. So when you do this 3-step and you start to communicate online, of course, in relation with your expertise, your face will become recognizable by the people, by the professionals out there. And you get out of the crowd, of your competitors, because you have many, many competitors out there, not just PhD students or postdocs, or you have many other people who can pretend to do the job you want to do. So you start to get your face recognizable, but it's not enough. You will start to, of course, to publish content online. And if your content are useful, instructive in relation to your expertise, and by useful and instructive, I mean, of course, for your target audience, if your content are entertaining, if you want to even do some pop science, once again, for your target audience, or inspiring, and inspiring is making people think and help them to change their mind or to adopt a new point of view, you will end by being recognized as an expert, not by people, but by your target audience, the people who care for what you do. And this is great. This is the first benefits. This is the first big benefit you will gain from working on your personal brand. And why is this important? Because when you reach this level and you want to apply for a job, or you want to sell your consulting to a company, or you want to sell your product as a CEO of a startup. So you reach a company and you knock at their door, and the doors open. Why? Because they know you, they trust you, and they want to work with you. And they open the door and say, hey, welcome. And this is great. And without being recognized as an expert, it is much more difficult to reach a company and to get the door open for you. It's the way it is. So this is the first benefit you get. This is the first benefit you get from working on your personal branding. Of course, if you do a great job here, you bring the solution to a problem. Plus, it was great, sweet work with you. This is the gain of that you bring with your soft skills. Of course, this company, as an employer or as a client, will recommend you. This is how it works. And more you do that, more you get recommendation, and more your expertise is validated by the industry, and you end to become considered by your target audience. And what this means, to be considered by your target audience, it means that now it's your client, the employer, who come to you and knock at your door. So this is the ultimate level of the benefits you will gain with personal branding. It's just like, Dragon Ball, the comics. It's an evolutive process. So when you get here, it's fantastic, but it's not the beginning of the adventure. The beginning of the adventure starts with knowing yourself. Start here. So please don't skip the first part of the personal branding journey. In this video, I will... So guys, do you remember our two heroes, Nicole and Tom? So happy end, they married and had a wonderful life full of opportunities where they developed their creativity and talent to the full of their potential. Here, some example of great PhD entrepreneurs that have a fantastic personal branding that I invite you to follow on LinkedIn. Benjamin, Justine, Olga, and Amir has just made an amazing job, and they continue to do an amazing job with their personal branding. So we reached the end of this presentation, and